Recovery by the Chair of B20 Indonesia, Ms. Sinta Kamdani.
His Excellency Presiden Jokowi, the Chair of also G20 Indonesia, is the Prime Minister of Australia, His Excellency Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, esteemed world leaders, business colleagues, and distinguished guests, I salute you all and I thank you for making this possible. I would like to express our immense gratitude to everyone for making the B20 a success. Today, I think back to when our President called on the B20 to collaborate with the G20 to contribute to global economic recovery. I feel privileged to say that together as the B20, we have made recommendations to the G20 which will drive this forward. That is the legacy of B20 Indonesia. Throughout our mandate, we have remained committed to giving businesses a platform for dialogue and supporting G20 governments. Let's look back to where we were in 2020, the great lockdown. Before the pandemic, we thought we knew what challenges we would face coming. No one did. In 2021, we entered a new chapter, the Great Reboot. There was a clear shift from managing the crisis to planning how to emerge from it. Businesses started to innovate to harness new opportunity. We took over the B20 presidency during the time of crisis. Today, we are moving into a new chapter, the Great Rebound. We faced many challenges during our presidency, but now we have an opportunity for a new economic era based on cooperation. It is in that spirit that I'm proud to share with you today the B20 Indonesia Communique, which includes our joint recommendation for G20 leaders. First, we are focusing on innovation to unlock post-crisis growth. This includes opening up digital opportunities across the economy, expanding cooperation for better cybercrime responses, and increasing funds for green infrastructure through innovative financing mechanisms, which accelerate the energy transition. Second, we are pushing for accelerated digital transformation. B20 Indonesia is turbocharging the empowerment of MSME and vulnerable groups by focusing on capability, entrepreneurship, job creation, and the empowerment of women-led MSME. We envision an uplift for workers in the informal economy, included in rural communities. And lastly, to realize a more equitable healthcare architecture, we are bolstering collaboration between developed and developing countries, particularly as we continue to fight to mitigate future global crises by creating guidelines on health emergency preparedness. This year, B20 was incredibly diverse, with 6 task forces and 1 Action Council member from more than 15 industries across G20 countries. Together, we have reached consensus. I would highlight, we have reached consensus with 25 policy recommendations and 68 policy action. Yes, action, not just recommendations. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, this is just the beginning. It is where we go from here that matters. Beyond policy recommendation, we need to have real impact. We need to set ourselves up for the great rebound. In the spirit of our continued commitment beyond our presidency, B20 Indonesia has created 4 legacy programs. These are inspired by our most pressing priorities: green transition, inclusive growth, and equitable healthcare. Mr. President, you will meet with the G20 leaders tomorrow, and I hope you can advance these priorities to the G20 as a joint vision between government and businesses to achieve collaborative, sustainable, and inclusive growth. Once again, thank you, Mr. President, for your stewardship in this challenging time. You have led many examples and have shown the true spirit of collaboration, inspiring us to develop more innovative ideas and more partnership to jointly drive stronger global recovery. To my chairman, Mr. Arshad Rashid, and the whole Kadin committee, all the task forces, Action Council, knowledge partner, network partner, and sponsor, thank you for all your hard work. It has been an honor to chair the B20 this year. We have come a long way. We have come a long way for a great rebound. And may we now work together and push the button to go forward and give and pass to India for a better together business and government for collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ibu Sinta. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward to our next remarks, it is my pleasure to call upon the Chairman of Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or Kadin Indonesia, host of B20 Indonesia, to deliver his remarks, B20 Presidency 2022, Indonesia's leadership in advancing global priorities. To Mr. Arshad Rashid, the stage is yours.
Now, I'm not going to tell you to start a dropshipping business or an Amazon FBA or an agency. Far from it. I'm actually going to teach you how to discover
His Excellency Bapak Jokowi, the President of the Republic of Indonesia. His Excellency Mr. Anthony Albanese, Prime Minister of Australia. His Excellency and all honorable state leaders and distinguished guests. It is a great honor for me as the host of the B20 Indonesia to address you at this historic occasion. This is the first time that B20 and G20 summit has been held on Indonesian soil. It is also the first in-person summit since the pandemic. Coming on the heels of the world's emergence from a global pandemic, the Indonesian G20 is timely. This year's G20 presidency takes place against the backdrop of intensified geopolitical polarization, as well as concerns that globalization has failed to affect equitable gain. In my view, Indonesia is uniquely qualified to understand such concern. Our equatorial country, which is literally situated between the global north and south, is a country of contrast. As the only ASEAN country that is permanent member of the G20, Indonesia is able to advocate for both developed and developing economy on the global stage. At the same time, Indonesia has a long tradition of advocating for different voices at the table. Just imagine, on one hand, we are a major global commodities producers. On the other hand, more than 95% of jobs are created by micro, small, and medium enterprises. And while Indonesia is the fastest growing digital economy in Southeast Asia, it is also home to 100 million unbanked people. On top of that, we are a diverse, multi-faith country with more than 17,000 islands. So, the question, how do we bridge our differences and drive consensus? I'll be honest, it hasn't always been easy. But two fundamental Indonesian values that have enabled us to bridge these differences and forge ahead are gotong royong, meaning the spirit of mutual inclusive collaboration, prosperity over the last 20 years. We have tried to bring this sense of unity and collaborative action to this year's B20 proceeding. And with this year's, with the support of everyone involved, I do believe we have succeeded.